Hello all, this is Jim Hazard, and at Ryan Morhard's suggestion, I am doing this little video to show what I see as the connection between the issue of data frameworks for epidemic readiness and codified legal. So at the meeting at the Gates Foundation convened by the World Economic Forum, among the issues, and in perhaps an overarching issue, was data collaboration frameworks. So that's an opportunity to apply codified legal in order to accelerate that process and make it better. Here let's start with the overall problem, the World Economic Forum's issue about making sure that data is better used in connection with health security. It was pointed out at the meeting that there has been work done by Chatham House, and they have done these agreements. So a model agreement for sharing data and benefits of public health surveillance, and the templates Annex A, Annex B, etc. So they have a modular approach to this, but you'll also notice that it's all based on Word documents, which are universally used in the legal world, but have a real problem of reuse. So what I did was to take these things and turn them into a format that allows you to create the whole document. So here are those forms from the Chatham House, instantiated for, this is a fictive use. So we're pretending that Acme Incorporated and Quake Inc. Are entering into such a thing. We have all of the entire text, including all of the annexes. The annexes I've not completed, but you can see that the annexes can be completed. And they can, even choices where there are multiple choices can also be completed. So, and that's done by, so you could create a full form, and that's done by something as straightforward as this. Here are each of the parameters in it, and note that I haven't made up the most plausible data use scenario. And what we do is we have a system of identities and a form. I've taken the form of the agreement, and the form of the agreement I chopped up into its Lego pieces, which then are reassembled using this into a full form of agreement. And that's true of the annexes too. We have the list of annexes, and each one of these things is the annex, and each one of the annexes is also a Lego piece. So it forms into its full document with the missing parameters in it. It also includes the any comments that there are to it. So that's the basic format for how you do this. That the notion is that if you did this, we then could do the next document as one of these lists, and if there was something that we needed to do that modified one of these things in order to create a different type of agreement for a different kind of use, or because somebody had different preferences, then we would only have to override the pieces that need to be overridden. This creates what's called an object model for the forms of agreement and their annexes. And that object model, because of the way that this system works, the object model is completely and essentially infinitely extensible. Each one of these modules can be broken down into each of its pieces and recombined. It's Lego all the way down. And further than that, it's Lego available on the usual platform that the software world uses, which is to say using Git, created by Linus Torvalds himself, and hosted at GitHub, which is sort of the place, the central location for much of software developers' work. GitHub is itself, Microsoft has announced that it will be purchasing GitHub because it sees the advantages of that. So GitHub is sort of the industry standard place to put materials. This provides a way of doing that, and in fact we can have a broad system of codification available there. So the general notion here, let's go up and we'll see the general notion on GitHub. I have many materials here. So at Common Accord, there are a large number of different kinds of materials available, and anybody can have theirs. I work with the IACCM, which has its. There we've done some work regarding tech contracts, but data sharing contracts are also a superb fit. The IACCM is a very large organization which works on contracts from the perspective of businesses. So that allows us to open source it generally. The specific proposition is that this open source thing should be put under appropriate public governance among the institutions that seem appropriate for that governance are the World Economic Forum, the IACCM in its role. We're also in conversation with the American Law Institute, which is a terrific organization, and in conversation with MIT Connection Science, also a somewhat smaller but superb organization. This fits into a general notion of how would we codify legal, how would we codify transacting, where does this fit with movements such as the blockchain, movements such as graph databases, movements such as the codification of law. So we have I call it Escargot because we work our way out from a core idea to the whole thing. As a general matter, Common Accord is the website that I've created in order to promote these ideas. So I say I'm the lead on the IACCM's information network. We've worked with the French finance industry's blockchain efforts, MIT Connection Science, and then there's a group of law students at one of Paris's best law schools who've also done, in fact, their own site using this system. So at commonaccord.org you can see materials generally. So to go back to the basic proposition, what we could do would be to take the Chatham House data sharing agreements and make them into a repository of materials available for everybody to template data sharing frameworks such that we could accelerate the discussions, negotiations, codification, transparency, and eventually even data sharing. So thank you very much. And again, at Common Accord, James Hazard. Thank you, Ryan.